Hello, friends, and welcome to Shuddy Uppy, Let's Talk King and Queens podcast. My name is Steve Lott, and we have an exciting show for you today. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Dusty Salisbury, famous for his hilarious King and Queens TikTok reenactments with his family. Dusty, how are you tonight?
What is up, you demented old circus monkeys? How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing awesome. So before we introduce tonight's guest, we always talk about rating and review of the podcast. We don't have anything from Apple Podcasts. Did anyone send anything in to talk about, Dusty, or should we just get going?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. All right. It's been a while, guys, so we'd appreciate it if you let us know how we're doing, good or bad. So without any further ado, today we have an exciting guest for you. He is a TV and stage actor, best known for his role as Maury Levy on HBO's legendary series, The Wire. He's had recurring roles on dozens of TV shows, including Law & Order SVU, The Blacklist, and Billions, and done several projects for HBO, including The Plot Against America and Wizard of Lies, in which he acted opposite of Robert De Niro. He's also a musical theater performer who has toured with the producers and Les Miserables. He's a teacher, a coach, and the author of several books for actors. His popular workshop, Audition Psych 101, can now be taken online at auditionpsych101.com. Today, we will be talking to him about his role as Mr. Thompson on The King of Queens. Please welcome Michael Kostroff to the podcast. Michael, how are you?
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to join you. It's nostalgia for me.
It's been a while since the King of Queens has aired, so
it's been. I think I still look young then.
Well, this is an audio only podcast, so
thank God. But in that case, I'm very handsome.
I was going to say, in that you look great. You don't look like you've aged a bit.
I'm stunning. I
love it. So I was reading over your IMDb a little bit. It says you're from New York City.
Yeah, it's my hometown.
Whereabouts in New York?
I grew up on the Upper West Side, which is a great neighborhood to grow up in. It's not like the crazy Times Square area that most people think of. It's doctors and people walking dogs and stuff. And yeah, that's my home turf.
Awesome,
nice.
Awesome. So where are you at now?
Now I'm in LA. About every 10 years, I get itchy and I relocate. So I can't. Okay. I don't know why exactly, but I'm in LA right now. Just didn't want to be cold.
Didn't want to be cold. Hey, listen, that's always a good thing. I'm in New York, about an hour and a half north of the city, and Dusty's in North Carolina. So,
whoop.
So first of all, thanks a lot for being on the episode. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun here. We're going to be talking about season 4, episode 5, called No Retreat.
Wait, forgive me for backtracking. Dusty, where are you in North Carolina? I love that state.
Oh yeah, I'd say about 40 minutes from Raleigh. I'm in Sanford, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I go to I work a lot at a theater at Flat Rock, which is near Asheville.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I hijacked your director there.
No, absolutely.
I was just curious. Yeah.
All right. Anytime you want to interrupt, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
All right. You were saying episode 4. Right. Go ahead. Season 4.
All right. We're going to talk about season 4, episode 5, titled No Retreat. It was written by Michael J. Whitehorn, David Litt, and Kevin James. It was directed by Rob Schiller and originally aired on October 22nd, 2001.
Whew.
So we're talking 20 years ago. How does that make you feel, Mike?
Well, I was 14 when I did it, so I'm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I get you.
It's, it really is nostalgic because back then I was still doing these, pretty small parts, and I was always just so grateful to have a job. I don't know if you've heard, a lot of actors in LA. So to get picked, it's it's a big deal. So I was grateful for the gig.
That's
Awesome.
That's great. And once we go through, I want to go through a little bit of trivia with you about the show,
Good
and
luck.
then I want to ask you a bunch of questions though about how you got on the show and things like that.
Okay.
So the episode synopsis for this show is Carrie brings Doug to her company retreat for the weekend. Carrie tries to get Doug to look like a successful person, but he puts on a bad show. Hopefully that jogs your memory a little bit.
Oh yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
All right. At the beginning, so question number 1 for trivia. At the beginning of the episode, what story is Doug telling?
He's telling about water skiing. I don't know if it was the first time water skiing, but he gave himself he got something wedgie and his bathing suit exploded.
Absolutely. Yes, the water skiing story, which will rear its ugly head later on in the episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good. 1 for 1.
I got one. That's it.
Hey, listen, that's all it takes, you know.
Okay.
That's all it takes. Why? So Carrie ends up, talking about the trip, and they're going to a lodge, with her colleagues from work, and she ends up buying Doug a book. Why does she buy Doug a book?
Because there's no TV in it.
There's no TV in the room,
and the look that he gives her is like, you have to be kidding. It's one of the all-time greatest pauses in sitcoms. He looks at her forever. I love that.
Yeah. It almost got a little awkward there for a second,
Yeah.
That would kill me. I've got to have a TV. I can't read. Reading gives me a headache. I'll read sports books, but I've got to have a TV. I'm just like Doug. I have to have a TV wherever I'm going.
I totally get it.
Yeah, Michael. So no TV in the lodge.
I remember more of this than I thought I would. Actually,
yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah,
I was nervous. Full disclosure. Go ahead.
You're not showing it. You're a great actor.
Yes.
Let's not get carried away. All right, go on.
Oh man. All right. So you're a big TV guy when it comes to like going to a hotel or something like that. You got to have a TV.
I love a TV. I mean, actually, my laptop is what I'm completely addicted to. And I watch TV on my laptop, and I haven't had a TV in years, and I now I have one, and I'm like, oh man, it's much bigger. It's like it's like it's a whole different experience, and I'm appreciating it all over again. Yeah,
that's great. That's
funny.
Great. All right, here we go. We got a Mr. Thompson question for you.
Okay.
So let me backtrack a little. So Doug and Carrie are up at the lodge. Carrie's introducing Doug to some of her colleagues and her bosses and things like that, and introduces her to Mr. Thompson, who recently made partner. So Mr. Thompson ends up talking with Doug, and he tells Doug a story about, and it starts with him originally being admitted to which bar in which state.
Okay. Oh God.
I can give you multiple choice.
No, don't give me multiple choice. Not yet. Okay, give me multiple choice.
All right. Was it New Jersey, Virginia, New Hampshire, or California?
I think it was California.
Oh, so close. It was Virginia.
That's not close at all. It's not close at all. Okay.
That was a curveball question.
Close enough. Yeah, I was a little. I like to throw a little bit of curveball.
Well, since the story was intended to put us all to sleep, it's okay that I didn't remember.
So walk us through that scene there, Michael, if you could.
Yeah. First of all, as I was when I got the audition, the whole joke is the guy is really dull, and I thought it might be fun to give him a really flat accent. And what I ended up doing was this Minnesota accent like this, like Minnesota, like sort of dull. And then I was stuck with it, which made no sense because there weren't any place. No, he didn't go to school in Minnesota. There's nothing about Minnesota. And the director's like, "Why are you doing that Minnesota accent?" I'm like, "That's what I auditioned with. I don't know. I couldn't shake it." But I mean, it was a funny idea, except completely illogical. So if you go back, if you go back, you'll see that it's totally like Minnesota,
Yeah.
like. But I thought that would be the dullest dialect, and then, Kevin James is so funny that when it was very hard to not laugh, he wasn't doing anything to me, and I was just laughing, just looking at him and being boring. It was like so funny. But one of my favorite things is that, so as you may remember, as I drone on, we hear his voiceover going, I'd like to be listening, but I can't, or I want to look interested. And I wonder if I could lift this guy with one. He's like, well, I had to improvise all the dialogue under that.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't in a script. They just said, just make something up. And so I remember, because it made me laugh, that I was like, now there's a green copy, a pink copy, a blue copy, a yellow copy. Now, if you put in the wrong copy, you have to do the whole thing over again. Now
I'm laughing so hard because I can't believe that's made up. I can't believe you improv that one.
Well, because it didn't matter. You weren't going to really hear it. But then the problem is that I made myself laugh because I'm an idiot. So, a couple of takes got ruined because every time I would try something different to bore Kevin James. And it was that part was really fun.
Oh, that's really great. That's a great story.
That's awesome.
So you're doing that scene, you're cracking up. So you said it took about how many takes to do that?
Well, it was more. The problem was more in rehearsal because when the live audience comes in, you don't get a lot of takes, and I by then I had worked it out of my system, but I just kept his face makes me giggle. He's just a funny guy. You can tell he's thinking something funny. So, if I remember correctly, and maybe I'm just flattering myself, I think we both had a hard time keeping a straight face. I'm not sure.
Great. That's great.
That's awesome.
And one more question about that before we move on. Do they actually put the voiceover, like, do they have Kevin James's voiceover going as you're talking, or
no? They do that later.
They do that later. Okay.
Yeah. And what they do, by the way, when we're rehearsing, it's me and Kevin James looking at each other, and I'm talking to him. And a stage manager or somebody else will read in what his line is going to be, so we'll know the timing of it. But
gotcha.
But they put that in later. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool. That's excellent. A little inside info for you folks.
Was this the one with the horses also? I think it is. Yeah.
At the end,
So I couldn't do the horse. I don't think I got on the horse because my back was bad. And they kind of went, don't worry about it. We'll just work around it. Because everybody else was getting on horses, and I was supposed to be in there, but I just scared me too much.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I negotiated my way out of it.
Great. You lawyered that one up, right?
Yeah, I lawyered it up. Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right. Back to some trivia, if that's cool with you.
Okay. Yeah,
all right.
I'm nervous because I blew the last one.
No. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. So now they leave Arthur there, all by himself, and Doug asks Deacon to come check on Arthur once in a while.
Right.
So they cut to a scene where Deacon and Arthur are sitting there watching TV, and Deacon is eating something out of a bag. What is he eating?
Oh, hell. Is it cheese doodles?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes! I remember, I think Jerry Stiller says something about thanks for the doodle crumbs or something like that, right? Yeah.
Now, did you, in this episode, you really didn't get to interact with Jerry Stiller?
No.
Did you like off camera or anything? Did you get to talk to him or interact with him at all off camera on this?
I have to give a very honest answer. I don't remember. It was such a long time ago.
Okay.
But I think that we usually do a table read where we all sit down and read through the script. So I imagine that we did sit there together. But
Absolutely.
It's not like we became golfing buddies.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So they're back at the lodge. Actually, this is a question that I kind of forgot about, so I'm throwing it in there midstream. Doug, everyone thinks Doug is the manager of the place. Why do they think Doug is the manager?
because he's in a suit and tie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he looks like hotel staff. Yeah.
And at one point, somebody, because he goes, somebody asked me to about their toilet backing up in room, whatever 245, and they actually show the guy asking him, "Is my toilet fixed yet?" And he actually said he sent somebody up there.
I think the rest of us were sort of in casual lawyer wear, like sweaters and stuff, so he really stood out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. So now they cut back to Arthur. He's walking around. He's by himself again. He's walking around the house, and he goes into Doug and Carrie's room.
Yeah.
What does he end up taking off of the dresser?
Change.
Spare change. It's so funny. That scene was so funny because he's.
Well, what's funny is he sort of looks at it and thinks about it. You're like, he's not going to take it. And then,
and he swipes it all off slowly into his hand and puts it in his pocket.
I mean, listen, if I had a scene with him, I wouldn't have made it. He's way too funny. Way too funny.
Yeah.
God, he's a funny man.
Yeah, he's hilarious, and some of the stuff that he does on this show is just is crazy. Nowadays probably a lot of people don't have spare change on their dresser. Do you guys? I don't know. Remember?
No, I don't.
Oh no. Okay, so
I had to check.
we got a instant answer there, right from the dresser. What about you, Dusty?
My daughter takes the change off my stand all the time, and it's like every time I'm walking through the house, there's change all over the place. I mean, I'm like, Lord have mercy.
I don't know, who uses cash anymore?
Right.
A lot of places in New York City won't take cash. They make you pay via credit card or
something. Yeah.
Something other than cash. All right. This episode is sponsored by Visa. No, I'm just kidding.
By cash.
It's by cash.
By cash. Look into it.
All right. So Arthur ends up wearing something at Doug's as he's walking through the house.
Oh.
What is Arthur wearing?
He puts on his uniform. Is it UPS? His delivery man uniform.
Yeah, IPS. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so big on him. It looks so funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Gonna have to watch it again.
He ends up answering the door in it and getting the Chinese food, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. So I got a couple more questions, then I want to get it back into your acting career and things like that.
Sure.
Why did this might throw you for a loop? Why did Doug and Carrie go up to Buffalo? Because at this point they're arguing, because Doug's kind of given up on, he's kind of given up on the whole weekend and talking to people and things like that.
Remember that she entered a demeaning contest.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't remember what the Buffalo thing. I give you multiple choice.
Multiple choice, you got it. It was either Sausage Fest, Beer
That
Fest.
That was it. Sausage Fest.
Sausage Fest,
Got it.
absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. And it's apparently, I was reading some of the comments, Dusty, on our Facebook, and apparently somewhere where they show where they have the episode airing, they actually cut out that line about the demeaning.
That's
which
crazy.
is interesting. Interesting, right, Michael?
I just remembered another little behind the scenes that I haven't.
Oh, here we go.
I haven't remembered since it just hasn't come to my mind in years, but because we talked about it, so I can be a little shy, especially back then. I was even more shy, and we had to go to the location for the horses, and I was in the same van as Leah Remini, and I don't know how, but we got into a conversation about New York and New Yorkers, and I said, I said we're not rude. We just don't have a high tolerance for stupid. And she busted out laughing, and she's like, "You got to talk more. You got gems." She's like,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That it's true though. It's New Yorkers are very fast paced. It's different out in LA, right? Right, Michael?
yeah, but you're like we are so much nicer than our reputations. I mean, people think New Yorkers are rude, and we're really not. We're efficiency freaks. We want to be direct. Let's get to it. What do you need? But a New Yorker will stop somebody who looks lost and say, "Where do you need to go? What do you need?"
Right.
They're not like, "Hello, how can I help you, friend?" They're like, "Where do you need to go? Tell me." No, you don't want to take that subway because it's closed. You want to go to the dirt, cross over. All right, no problem.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get all gooey about it, but they want to help you.
It's true.
I want to tell you my
awesome.
one of my favorite experiences of being recognized on the street, because I've got some doozies, but this is just so New York. I was walking along, and this guy walks by, and he goes, "Good actor, you," and he keeps walking.
That's awesome.
That's all. That's it.
That's
Good
great.
actor. He wants to just let me know. He just identified me. He's like, "Good actor, you."
Good actor, you.
He keeps walking.
That's funny.
That's all you get.
That's very efficient. That's very efficient.
He said what he had to say.
He said what he had to say.
He didn't bother with "Excuse me, do you mind if I tell you something?" Blah, 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 I'm a big fan. No, good actor, you. I got other things to do. Just want to let you know. I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a busy man. You're a good actor. That's it. So funny.
That's awesome. That's really funny.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Quintessential New York.
Yeah. I go down to the city every day on the train, and like it's true. It's very true what you're saying, and I like the way you put it. Very efficient,
Yeah.
You getting where you got to go.
We're like this. By the time you get to the counter, you need to know what you're ordering or get the hell out of the way.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
absolutely. Yeah, you can't go to a deli or to a bodega or something like that and not know what you want.
Figure it out.
Sit there. Yeah.
Step aside so you get yourself together.
I know nothing about this.
Yeah,
I've been to New York in my life.
Dusty, it's a little different than North Carolina because I've been
they
to
always
North
say
Carolina.
like here in the South, like it's Southern hospitality. That's not true.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well, with me, yeah, of course, but like other people, I mean, there's a lot of buttheads out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's true anywhere, but I think it's just a slower, you know what I'm saying, more easygoing kind of place in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy North Carolina. I really do, and it's Yankee that I am. I sort of love it, but there are certain isms that always make me laugh, and one of them is that we'll be standing around with somebody and go, "Well, I'll tell you what," and that's the whole conversation. It's like, what?
Yeah.
There's nothing to tell. Well, I'll tell you what. That's it. That's all.
Oh, that's funny.
And the other
Dad.
The other thing we used to, if you don't mind me making fun of your thing.
No, you're good.
The other thing we used to always laugh at is whatever town you're in, they've got the best of something.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be like, now if you want to see dirt, what you do is you go up the road. Now this is not just regular dirt. Now this is special dirt. Now what you do is you go down the road, make a left with the tractor. It's always there. Don't worry. And and drive up to a gas station. Now don't ask them where it is because they don't know. What you want to do, I mean, like it's always complicated directions, but you don't want to leave town without seeing the dirt. It's like I mean dirt, real dirt. You know? Is that about right?
Yonder. Oh yes.
Okay, good.
Oh yes.
Over yonder, does
Well, I'll tell you
yonder.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good actor, you.
Good actor, you.
Oh, that's funny. All right, I got two more questions for you.
That's good.
Two more trivia, and then we'll get into some more action.
I really can't believe that I was able to answer the ones I was able to answer.
You're doing awesome.
I'm pretty shocked. Okay.
You're doing great. What was the name of Doug's horse that he was riding?
Oh, damn it. I remember what the joke was. Wasn't it like something like, don't quote me on it, but something like Cream Puff, and then it ended up being like a really violent horse, or did I have that wrong?
It was
completely wrong.
No. It was something like, yeah, it was like a gentle name, I guess you could say.
Buttercup or something. I don't remember the name.
Very close, very close. If you think more of a cat.
Nah, I can't summon it. I'm gonna have to pass.
Whiskers.
Oh, Whiskers. Okay.
Whiskers.
Yeah. So you were right in the fact that it's more of like a gentler kind of, and then it turns out to be like a crazy, didn't really. See,
I think my names. I think my names were funnier.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think. Oh, yeah. I think it should have been Buttercup or Sweet Pea or Cream Puff or Angel. Or Cream
Angel,
Puff.
That's a good one. I like Cream Puff. That's a good one. So this was your first time on King of Queens, right?
I think this was the first one. I had 3 of them. Yes, this was the first one. Yeah. So
maybe you didn't. Maybe you were just you couldn't work up the gumption to go to the writers and suggest that.
Oh no. When you're a guest on the show, you don't do that. I've done it a couple of times on my HBO projects, very selectively and very great fear. And in both cases, the writer was like, "You're right. That was a good catch." But cool. that's a very privileged place to be.
Yeah. You don't just go up and suggest things like that.
No.
All right.
Especially about Kevin James's horse. It had nothing to do with me. I'm way out of my. Yeah. You know what you guys should do? Yeah.
Maybe if you would have gotten, if you didn't have the, you said your bad back, right? You could have named your horse Cream Puff. You could have done some improv or something.
I know. I missed my chance.
You missed your chance. All right, last trivia question. There was a little incident with some curry clam soup that Arthur had on Doug and Carrie's bed. Who did he try to blame the soup incident on at the very end of the episode?
I'm having a block. The guy who was supposed to be watching him.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. What's his name again? Deacon.
Deacon. Yes.
Yeah. He blames it on Deacon.
He blames it on Deacon. Yep, absolutely.
Curry clam.
Listen, you curry clam soup.
That sounds so awful.
Yeah.
I've
never even heard of it.
I don't think it exists.
I don't think it exists.
See, now that's good.
Imagine the smell.
But that's good writing. Like that. Yeah, that's about the worst soup you could imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
to be sopped into the bed like overnight. Like he basically he's sitting there just.
That ain't never coming out. That's time to get a new mattress.
Just got to get a new mattress at that point. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is fun.
Did you have any favorite parts or quotes of this particular episode?
Not off the top of my head. I just love when Jerry Stiller yelled at Deacon and was like, like I don't need anybody watching me. It wasn't a quote. I don't know what the line was, but No, I don't. I can't sum it up any favorites. I fail that one.
No. That's it's no wrong answers there.
No.
How about you, Dusty?
Oh man, there are so many to choose from in this episode. I mean, there was a lot of great lines, and a lot of great parts. I mean, this whole episode was hilarious. I like when Jerry Stiller went up to Victor Williams and said, "Look, don't make this a black or white thing." That was hilarious. How he the way he delivered that comment was hilarious.
And it had nothing to do with that,
right? And I'll tell you one of my favorite parts that I always laugh because I watch this show religiously, and the part where you dip your finger in the orange juice.
Yeah, we wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
When Doug, Doug's. Let me take you back. Doug's telling, it's the morning. It's breakfast time. Mr. Kaplan, who's the head, the head boss,
right?
It tells a story about his grandson having, he wanted a jet ski, and he said, "Get him the best jet ski because he's got cystic fibrosis." And it kind of like, it kind of hit everyone a little bit, it's like, oh, yeah, this is serious or whatever. And then Doug chimes in with his water skiing story, which we mentioned at the top of the episode.
Right.
But he felt very awkward saying it. So as he's droning on about the water skiing story, your character literally sticks his finger in the orange juice and starts stirring it. Was that? First of all, do you remember that part? And if so, was that improv, or were you told to do that? Or
I don't remember. God, why did I do that? That's a weird. I have to go back and watch that again. I don't remember doing that. Isn't that weird? Why did I do that? I think I was playing sort of the awkwardness of like wanting to pretend I wasn't listening to his story.
Yeah.
So I'll just stir my orange juice. This is all I could come up with. I think that's what I was doing.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I mean, that makes sense.
If you want to wait a half hour, I'll go watch the episode again.
Yeah. We'll hit pause and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
That part just always gets me. I mean, it's just so like random. Like while you're like so bored of Kevin James' story, you just dipping your finger in the orange juice. I mean, it's great.
Well, the story was so inappropriate at that point because of that I was like, I don't want the boss to think that I'm interested in the story, so I'll just busy myself with something here.
So I wanted to ask you, as far as acting on different shows, you were on this show, which was a comedy. You're on The Wire, a number of other different movies and HBO specials and things like that. How is that? How is the set like on like a comedy versus like something more of like a drama versus more of like like an action type thing? I mean, can you feel it? Can you tell the difference? Is it?
I think it doesn't. I think it doesn't break down by genre. A lot of it is like the atmosphere that the leads and the directors set. I've been on sets where you walk on and you're like, ooh, somebody's not getting along. It's like tense, and then some that are like a party. I mean, the amount of laughter that we had on The Wire, you'd be shocked.
Really?
Oh my God, we were sitting at this table having a big sort of lawyer showdown with it's me and it's like a gang member in cuffs, and a lot of us have musical theater backgrounds on that show, and so we started singing show tunes between takes. It's like it's ridiculous, including like the gangster in handcuffs, and it's like,
oh, that's great.
And there's a lot of laughter on that set, and I think sometimes it's because you need it,
Right.
But I don't think it's a matter of genre. I think it's a matter of who's directing and who's starring.
Okay.
This thing I did for HBO, The Plot Against America, I've never had this happen. Our director was this sweet English woman. I've never had this happen. Before the day would start, she'd come around to all of our trailers and say, "How you doing? You doing okay? All right, just checking in. All right." I mean, like, how does she have the time? She just starts the day by going, "You doing good? Are you all right?" And it's
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm like, oh my God, this is, I want to work with people like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As opposed to the one episode I did of Gotham, the director was yelling at everybody. He was horrible. Nobody liked him. Nobody wanted to speak to anybody, and their tension trickled down. It does come from the top.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah.
And the top being the director on set.
The director on set, or maybe the producer, or maybe or the lead. If you have difficult leads, it creates tension on the set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do want to add that having worked with a bunch of big stars, they're mostly really lovely folks. I mean, I don't know why people expect them to be divas and horrible. They're like really easygoing, nice, keep everybody happy kind of people.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Dusty, any
Yeah.
questions?
How many roles have you had as a lawyer? Now I know of like King of Queens, SVU, The Wire, and one of my favorites, Liar Liar. I know those four. How many roles have you had as a lawyer?
I mean, so many. I'm trying to think. There's a little independent film I did. There've been lots of other shows I was a lawyer on. I think, no, The Good Wife was not a lawyer. It all kind of flows together. It's bizarre. I don't know. I'm gonna guess I've probably been 15 lawyers. Probably.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just look like what people imagine lawyers look like, and also because of The Wire. There's a lot of lawyers.
Yeah.
I think it's a sign of a healthy career that I can't summon them all up right now. But yeah, there've been a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, a healthy career is, I think, an understatement. I mean, you go on your IMDb and you just keep scrolling, and you just have countless amount of of
I've
spots
been really fortunate, and of course, I especially treasure the ones that are not lawyers, because that's not all I do. Obviously,
Right,
sometimes
right.
I have a soul. I feel especially lucky that I get invited to do comedy as well as drama, and that's really surprising and fortunate, because people usually get categorized into one of the two.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your favorite genre to do?
Comedy is my thing, and actually musical theater is really my thing. Like musical comedy. I feel like I'm at home. I have the best time. It's my environment, and I really never thought I was going to do a serious role in my life. It wasn't part of the plan. It just sort of happened that way, and I keep going, you're kidding, right? But people who don't know me, like who only know me from The Wire, they're like, "Wow, that son of a bitch. I don't like him at all." And I love that's again, it's a compliment to an actor that they bought it.
Yeah.
They bought it.
Yeah,
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just had something and it just fleeted my mind, Dusty.
Now, you said you were in Less Miserable. Is that what?
Les Miserables? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So you toured?
Okay.
Did you tour all over the country?
I did.
What was your favorite city to be in when you did that tour?
Where are you from? No, just kidding.
Yeah. Right.
I love Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's a place I never would have visited otherwise. I love Louisville, Kentucky. Again, in New York, I have to admit there's like a snobbery. People think every place else is going to be boring. And these are great, great towns. I also had never really spent much time in San Francisco or Boston. That was a revelation, But I think Fayetteville and Louisville were highlights for me. I would really look forward to going back to both of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was there something particular about those towns and cities that stood out to you? Like,
it's mostly
food, atmosphere.
Well, it's all of that. It's mostly the vibe. It feels good here, especially I love old stuff. So if there's a downtown where you can walk by and see old buildings and stuff, I love that. But the story with I'm pretty sure it was Fayetteville. I took an advanced look at the hotels they were going to put us in, and we always have the choice to take their hotel, or they can give us the money and we go someplace else. And I looked at that hotel in Fayetteville. I was like, yeah, no. So in Fayetteville, I found this amazing bed and breakfast that was on the main street, and I was trying to tell my castmates, and they're like, no, we're good. Well, they had to move out of that hotel. There was mold, there were leaks. I was like,
dang.
Sorry guys, I'm sitting pretty and I'm walking distance to the theater. So that's part of it. And part of it is how well the show was received, and the kind of people and the architecture, just the whole vibe. Because you're only there for a week or two. And Louisville, it was it's very artistic. And also, my wife and I went to a place called Hillbilly Tea, which was kind of like upscale hillbilly food. I think we went there 4 times.
Nice.
It was really cool. They had grandma's china and mason jars to drink out of, and it was these are the things you remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna, if it's all right with you guys, let's rate and review this episode, and then I want to talk to you more about.
Now, this episode of your podcast, we're rating and reviewing how I did.
No.
no.
I'd give it a 10. I'd give it a
Okay.
10.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
No, we're gonna rate and review the episode of the King of Queens. But first, and then after, I would like to talk to you about Audition Psych 101.
Oh, sure.
We always let our guests go first. We always do. Oh, first of all, IMDb had 320 user ratings. They gave it a 7.9 out of 10 stars. We have a Facebook poll that 45 ratings came out of, and there was a 4.1 out of 5, so about an 8.2. And then we always let our guests go first, Michael. So out of 10, what would you have given Season 4, Episode 5, No Retreat? What would you give this episode?
I feel like I was going to give it an 8. I think it's pretty high up there. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a pretty good rating?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's very
Definitely.
respectable. Very
Yeah.
respectable.
I think it's a really solid comedy episode.
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Dusty, what's your rating on this one?
Now that we've heard the story about him and Kevin James and all that, this was in my top 10, and I'm moving this into my top 5 now after hearing that story.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm kicking one of the episodes out, and this is going to be in my top 5. And this isn't because we have Michael on the episode on the show. It's because the behind the scenes stuff's really hilarious. So I'm moving this in my top 5.
Well, Dustin, I'll tell you what.
But one thing I always do is if Jerry Stiller's in the episode, it's always going to get above an 8 for sure. Because he's just hilarious. But
Hilarious.
This episode was funny all the way throughout the show, throughout the episode. And I liked how they went back and forth from Jerry to Victor Williams and then Kevin James to Leah Remini. I love how they did that. It was really good, and I'm going to give this a 9.5.
Wow, 9.5.
Wow, that's really good.
That's really up there. And that comes to me. I got a lot of pressure here. We got an 8 and a 9.5. I'm going to piggyback off of Dusty. Hearing that behind the scenes with you with the color copies,
Yes.
the green and the red and the yellow, that to me really, I'm still laughing because of that. Stirring your drink with your finger and just all the antics that you and Kevin sounded like you had on set. I'm gonna do it an 8.9.
Nice.
See, I love that I was the conduit for getting the rating up for this episode. That makes me very happy.
That's
There
right.
you go.
I boosted it up. That's
You
good.
boosted it up.
Sure did,
Listen, whenever you can get a behind the scenes look at things like that and see how things, how the sausage is made, no
Yes.
pun intended.
Yes.
It really does. It really does enhance the experience.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So we like to have our guests plug, whatever they're working on or websites, whatever like that. And that's why I wanted you to talk about auditionpsych101.com.
Yeah. So, auditioning is hard. It brings out all our insecurities and, actors typically hate it. And I was petrified of it. When I was early in my career, I was so shy and so scared, and to go in and present yourself in front of people is scary. And over the years, I sort of had to pull apart what was going wrong for me, and it turned out that I was getting freaked out over some stuff that was pretty illogical. And I started teaching this class about 15 years ago on the psychology of the audition, how we think about it, how we approach it, some of the faulty mythology that makes us scared. And it's been really exciting because I have so many actors going, this changed my career, this changed my life, you helped me. And I got to say that it's pretty humbling for me to be that guy, considering where I came from. So I started getting requests, can you come here, can you come there? I've been flown to Vancouver to do it. I've been flown to Atlanta to do it. I've been all over the country. But there are a lot of places I don't get to. So I finally just put it together as an online course that people can take. And it's 22 mini lessons with worksheets and bonuses and stuff that kind of breaks it down in ways that make sense to people, you know. Like, for example, I think that a lot of us think that casting directors can't wait to criticize our work, that they're going to shoot us down and say, that doesn't pass the logic test because they're trying to find actors. They want us to do well.
Right.
So just re-examining some of those thoughts. And, you know, I know this is sounding very heavy and stuff, but we have a lot of laughs because actors sit in the room and go, "Oh my God, it's not just me. The demons don't just visit my head; they visit everybody." And so it's become kind of a life mission of mine to help actors have a better time when they audition. And so it's out in book form, and it's available as an online course. I should also, just in case you have any actors listening, every week I do a very short video on the little elements of auditioning, and those are free. There's no sales pitch. Those are also on that site under weekly videos. Just little ideas about auditioning that people can just subscribe to and get.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I really love my tribe. You know, I call actors my tribe. I really love my tribe. That's my family. So, you know, things that help other actors really lifts my heart. I gotta be honest. It's a big boost.
That's awesome.
Now, do they? You know, it sounds like they kind of have almost direct access to you in the form, like I'm sure they could contact you if they have any questions or things like that once they're in the program. Okay, yeah, that's really cool. And I'm sure there's a lot of success stories that have come out of that. I mean, 15 years you've been doing it. That's awesome.
And I tell you that, like, that part never gets old when I hear from actors. It's like I don't want to sound like whatever, but I feel so humbled and grateful to be that guy. Like, and to be able to, it really makes my day.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm like in a bad mood, and somebody writes and like says, "I just had the best time at this audition." I'm like, that's great. That's the payoff, you know.
Yep. That's great. That's awesome. Yep. That's really cool. Can we ask you? You know, what's coming up next for you as far as?
That was my question too.
Yeah. What should we expect to see in, or if you're allowed to say, or?
I actually like giving this answer because people should know that this is true for actors. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. You know, I am auditioning regularly. I don't know which ones are going to end up being, a job. And, I've gotten to the point where I don't worry about it because something always comes along. But meanwhile I teach and I coach and I do all kinds of other things. And, but I do not know what my next acting job is going to be. All Actually, right. That's not true. I lied. In January, I will be doing Clue at the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey, which is like a very prestigious theater.
Yeah, I know Paper Mill Playhouse.
They filter stuff onto Broadway a lot. So I did it. We did it at the Cleveland Playhouse. It broke all the box office records ever for that theater in the history of that theater.
Wow.
And so Paper Mill says, "Oh, we'll be putting this on." So we're doing that I know we're going to rehearsals in January. I think it opens in February. So I forgot about that. That's the next gig that I know of. I hope that I'll have something before then, though.
That's awesome.
So quick little thing about the Paper Mill Playhouse. You know, not to bring things down, but recently lost, my grandmother, the past year because of COVID, but she loved the Paper Mill Playhouse. Loved it. She had season tickets. I've been there with her. My mom would go with her. So to bring up the Paper Mill Playhouse, really.
Listen, and that's a good thing to plug. I mean, I don't need to plug Audition Psych 101. Paper Mill Playhouse, it's a great theater. They do great stuff, and it's run by two guys who really love their audiences and love the arts. And theater's been struggling because we were shut down for a while. So right. I really encourage people to go. Their shows are always good. I've done 5 shows there. They're always good. I love that. I love that place. I always accept offers from them because it's a great place to work. Yeah.
And and how do you know how long you're going to be there for? Or?
I think if I remember correctly, we close February 20th. You want me to look it up? I can tell you right now.
Sure.
Yeah, let me tell you. I'm gonna. This will just take a second. The Clue run. We open the 26th of January.
Oh, okay.
And then we close. I believe it's February 20th. I'm just going to confirm. Yes, we close on Sunday, February 20th.
Oh, that's great.
And the show's hilarious. Hilarious.
I can only imagine.
It's based closely on the movie, and the people that I'm working with are many of them people I've worked with in the past in other shows, and they're the creme de la creme. They're so funny.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What, I
hope we just sold some tickets.
Can we ask you what part you'll be playing in that? Or
I play Professor Plum.
Professor Plum.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna definitely try to make my way out there in honor of my grandmother, and then to see you, and that'd be really great. So hope to see you then.
Yeah.
Dusty, you have anything else?
No, I think we're all good. I mean, I could plug in our stuff.
I don't think you can really top.
I know, right?
Plugs, you know.
You can plug whatever.
Michael, do you have anything else before we sign off?
No, except to say thank you. I mean, I love guessing on podcasts, and especially because we have so many laughs. This was so much fun. You really brought back some great memories for me, seriously.
Awesome.
And I had forgotten most of this stuff, and it's so fun to revisit a part I did so long ago. And I really want to thank you for your hospitality. It was fun.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're welcome anytime.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yep.
All right. Well,
when you get to my other episodes, invite me back. I'll come back because I have two more of them.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes, you do.
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's all we have, Michael Kostroff, thank you very much. Check out all his stuff. He's got a ton of it. Go to auditionpsych101.com and definitely check out Clue. Coming January 2022 at the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey. I'm excited.
And we just talked about that last episode about our favorite board games and stuff like that. And Clue is like one of my favorite.
Oh, wow.
I love Clue.
There we go.
Great movie.
Dusty, you're going to have to fly up for that one.
I'm telling you, man, I really need to come to New York. I've never been up that far north.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Have a good one.